I want to thank the Fort Worth Police Officers Association for hosting us here today. It is the federal government's job to secure our border, but the Biden administration has failed to do its job. So Texas is stepping up and doing what the federal government is supposed to do. I am about to sign a law that adds nearly $2 billion to border security in Texas. That is in addition to the more than $1 billion that was allocated during the regular session. Altogether, Texas is devoting $3 billion to secure our border. These funds are needed because the Biden administration's open border policies have opened the floodgates to illegal immigration, to crime, to human trafficking, to drug smuggling. These funds will help the Texas Department of Public Safety arrest more people at the border. They will help the National Guard to secure the Texas border. They will increase funding to build the border wall. They will provide grants for local counties as well as local law enforcement that are on the border, that are on the front line of having to respond to the crisis created by the Biden administration. And it will add more jail capacity for Texas to be able to put behind bars people who are coming across the border illegally and trespassing in Texas. Yesterday, the state signed a contract with companies to oversee construction of the border wall. They will quickly work to begin building that border wall. Now let me explain to you why we are making this announcement in Fort Worth. We need to understand and make clear that the challenges that you see on the border do not stay on the border. They come to every community in the state of Texas, in fact, go to communities across every state in the United States. One of the worst ways that what happens on the border affects communities like Fort Worth is with the importation and the distribution of drugs like fentanyl. Fentanyl is one of the deadliest drugs that exists. 2 milligrams of fentanyl is a deadly dose. This year alone already, state law enforcement officials have apprehended and seized more than 400 pounds of fentanyl. Put differently, they've seized more fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child who live in Texas, California, and New York combined. Border security is a priority for all communities in Texas. What we have done so far, it builds upon the tremendous progress that we've taken to secure the border. The Texas Department of Public Safety, working with the National Guard, have already made about more than 5,500 arrests, as well as more than 65,000 apprehensions of people coming across the border illegally. They have seized thousands of pounds of different types of drugs that have been brought across the border. And we have increased jail capacity to house more people that we are arresting for the crimes that I mentioned, as well as crimes like smuggling. I want to thank the people at the table with us today, but even some who are not, because this truly was an effort by everybody in the Texas House and Texas Senate. I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick for his leadership in the Senate, as well as Senator Jane Nelson, who is chair of Senate Finance, and we'll be telling you more in a second, as well as Representative Chairman Greg Bonin, who is chair of the Texas House Appropriations Committee. I want to thank all of the members of the legislature, some of whom joined with us here today, some over there, some over here. Thank you all for stepping up and doing what our constituents really needed to have done. They need safe communities. You delivered for them safer communities in the state of Texas. And I also want to thank someone who will be speaking shortly and help you understand how this is such a local issue. And that is Manny Ramirez of the Fort Worth Police Officers Association. But first, I turn things over to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
Thank you, Governor. And again, thank you for the initiative on this. You have been focused on this since we were elected.